Okay, what I want to talk about now is the evaluation methods that are offered in the Servo Press. The Servo Press, when you download the software installation package, you get a different version, and there's an online help, and there's English or German, and this is the help I have open right here, and there's appendix number 5, and it discusses the three methods for evaluating and coming up with a good or no good part. There's page 31 talks about the windowing, 32 threshold, and 33 is the envelope. And what I'm going to show you is just some brief overview of that here. I'm going to use force mode, so I'm going to edit this program here. And I've already got a program set up here just to go here and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to go to the next, and then I'm going to run a reference curve here. So it's running the sequence right now. And the next step here is step 2, as you see up here, and you hit the save button, and then you hit the next. And when you want to activate or use something, you have to enable or disable it here. So if you want to use it, you enable it, and then you have to also make it active. Okay, I don't know why they have 2, but basically it shows if you don't have this active turned on, then you won't see it on the graph, and you won't be able to kind of plot out what you're trying to do with it. And if you go to so this is windowing, which is this one right here. If you go to the next one, it's threshold. Again, off and on, it shows you what this is here. The next here is the envelope, which is this over here. Again, I can turn it off and on. So I'm just going to go back a little bit here, and you'll see for the windowing here, you have this configuration right here, and the configuration is determining what happens at each intersection. For example, it's forbidden to go through this side here. That's how I've configured it. So I basically wanted to enter this side. I don't care about the left or right. I just want to be between these 2 points here. So I know that I'm coming from a lower force to a higher force. So it has to travel through this line here, and it cannot exceed this line. So if I was to lower the max force, so let's say 300, then I would have a fail in this because it's actually traveled through the line here. So I'm just going to save this and run it just so you can see the failure. Go into operation. It's running. So you see there it failed. And if I go back and I edit that again, if I don't want to go through the whole process again, I just hit the next button. I'm going to hit the next button and go beyond this. And then I have to back up. See how we're at step 4? So back up, and back up to the windowing. Put this back up to 320. Hit the save button. And put it back into operation here. It's running. And we'll see that we're in there. So that is the windowing. Next thing we'll talk about is the threshold. It's pretty straightforward, but again, hit the next button. I'm not going to run the whole sequence again, so I'm going to go back here, back. Now we're on threshold. Again, absolute, active, and basically as long as it travels through this line here in the direction that you've told it, then it will be a pass. And I can do right or left. Okay, if I did left, it would fail based upon my reference move here. So I'm going to go right. So there's really nothing else to that. I think that's self-explanatory. And if I go back to the next window, threshold. Okay, the threshold is what we've already discussed. That's there. And now we're going to talk about the envelope. The idea of the envelope is that the traveled path here, the reference, has to be between these two lines here in order to be a go or no go. And you can have multiple points, but I'm just going to talk about the 2 points here. And this right here, you've got upper and lower. So I'm moving that point there. And then if I go to the right, I'm moving this point over here. And then for this one below here, I'm on the lower side here, so same idea. Hit the next point. And I'm not going to bother modifying that, but you get the idea. If I was to type in a 3 here, then I have to configure a third point. So that's 260. Let's go 280 and 25. And this one over here is 240, 250, 2510. So now that we've got the points in there, I'm just going to make it more dramatic so that you can see what I'm talking about here. So 0.3, 25, 25. So let's make this 25.2. So 0.1 is over here, 0.2 is over here, 0.3 is over here. So I'll try and do the same thing with this one. 0.3, we've got 220, 240, 240, 235. There you go. So you get the idea about adding multiple points now. And that's it for the evaluation methods. In order for the press to give you a OK, the evaluation methods all have to be satisfied. Any one of those evaluation methods will give you a not OK on the press.